I'm gonna do this to. I want to start up a podcast, bro.
Okay.
I want to try to get guests on and like because I'm starting to. Oh yeah, that's another thing I'm getting into. I'm I'm starting a radio show, and I want to talk about like Utah culture and like the underground culture, like the Napster days, the LimeWire days, the like bring back the old school, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of bullshit out there, and I feel like if I get the proper like little crew together,
Mm-hmm.
we can do some dope stuff in the underground, dude. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. It sounds like a plan. Like, as long as you keep at it, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do it. Like,
Yeah, I got the connections for um this radio station called Sub FM.
mm-hmm.
Hold on one sec. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Sí. Yeah, I'm finally to the point where I can start doing pretty cool stuff, man. Um I'm even getting into politics a little bit too. Like I've been going to the board meetings and been trying to get more involved into the community to like really try to make a change. And like I'm in like my mom's working on her second master's right now. And she's gonna be like a therapist and she's like focusing on like people with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get her on the show. I want to get you on the show. I want to get a bunch of underground cats that like were doing it in Utah before like Utah blew up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
before Utah started getting all like popular and stuff. And I don't know, like there's this guy on Facebook. I don't remember his name, but he like interviews people.
Mm-hmm.
He like interviews like you know Gummo the hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he interviewed him and he told his story and like how he grew up and um and like how he did it and how he got to the point where eventually he was running like a huge cybersecurity
Firm. Right.
like
Most hackers do end up going that route. Like, back in the day, there was like Cult of the Dead Cow. I think they still exist, but back when they first started, they were like a very different group. Like, a lot of people would say that they were troublemakers and this and that, and eventually, they go into security. Almost all of them end up going into security. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's a cool idea. I think you could make it work for sure. Like, you just have to have an angle, like any kind of podcast or anything you do. There's got to be an angle and there's got to be that desire. So you need to make sure that whatever you decide to go in, that there's a demand.
yeah.
And as long as there's a demand, then you can channel that demand and you'll be able to bring in those people. If you're trying to create a demand, it'll never work. You got to be like,
Yeah.
Kanye West or someone like, Elon Musk in order to create basically a demand. And even then they're really channeling into something that exists. Is you look at Dogecoin, like, how Elon manipulated or basically could influence it to go up or down. He wasn't really even, creating a demand because the demand was there for crypto. He just channeled it over to Doge. And so that's kind of the focus, is kind of like finding where there's a demand and then trying to channel that in to move over to your podcast or whatever you're creating.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that's like awareness. So if it was me, I would try to find something that I think a podcast is a great start, because that would give you your audience, that would give you your engagement. It's still moving you towards the venue thing you want to do. It's still
Yeah.
moving you towards all your goals. So I think a podcast would be good. I'd probably start like a Facebook group about the podcast. That way when you do them, when
Oh,
they're
I
not
should I
live.
should make a page. Huh.
Right, yeah, yeah. That way you could post your old podcasts. You have a way for
Yeah.
people to follow you, and you can start getting that group going. That way you can keep them, engaged in, because not everyone's gonna be able to jump on at that time. Like that's just with podcasts is the way it works. Even some paid events, sometimes, people are like, "Can I pay to see the video?" The recordings, because everybody's schedule is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I think that's the goal, is for you to have a way or a method to get your audience. And your page would be one of those ways, because then you got, when people follow you, you have a way to get a hold of all of them at once and be like, hey, we're doing a live event. Here's the venue. Here's the, blah, and that way you're keeping everybody on the same page. But there's always usually an angle that people take, and it's good. Like, get involved, learn about the politics, learn about the things that are wrong in the world, because it's going to take all of us to fix this. As
Yeah,
long as we
for
keep
real.
allowing the people above us to control things, it'll always be the same, or it'll get worse. Like, that's just because they don't care about us. They don't.
Mm-mm.
Like, that's just the end of the day. Like, the majority of them don't care, and the ones that do care, they're usually shunned, or they're hated by both sides, because they're hated by the people because everything's wrong, and they're hated by the other politicians because they're trying to fix it. And so they generally just get out. But yeah, that's what I would do if it was me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna make the page. I'm gonna work on that right now, and then. Oh, me la traes? Coca-Cola. Okay, bye, Olita.
You know, thank God. I've been driving around forever for this is the place. Oh, well, it's Mr. Ruffin. He's not expecting me. This is kind of a surprise. My name is Jimmy Ruffin.
Okay.
Believe. Hell, I can't believe it either. I never met a black who liked my music. Oh, wait. Oh my God. You're not. No, you can't be. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not up there. That's gonna fly, right? Yeah. That would be crazy. That'd be weird. Yeah, well, no, sir.
Have you ever had Inca Cola?
I haven't.
It tastes like bubble gum a little bit.
Where do you get it?
Just like I think you can get it like at Rancho Market.
Rancho?
Yeah. I'm guessing it's a Mayan. It's an Incan soda because it's called Inca Cola. Yeah, but it tastes like bubble gum, but it looks like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw it. It looked like kind of like a Mountain Dew or a Mellow Yellow or something.
Oh, yes, sir. I would do that, but well, unfortunately,
Oh, it's Peruvian.
He caught
It's from Peru.
La soda, Inca Kola, de los Incas.
The Incas. Shout out Incas.
That is tragic. He'd be very mad at me if I didn't offer you a cold drink after coming all this one. Thank you, Toby, but it's getting late. Mr. Rebel, sir. Yes, sir. I just wanted to say something. A lot of people can talk bad about them, but you make art that talks bad.
Yeah, you also might be able to.
Well, hey,
Do you know Seth Bonnell?
Seth Bonnell? Yeah. You mentioned him.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff similar to. Well, he started out like doing a lot of band stuff, and then every time he would end up doing well, one of the band members would leave or something would happen, and then they would basically have to start over. And he did that a lot over the years, like to where it was like kept recreating the band over and over and over. Well, now he's kind of like you know, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Now it's more of like just him, you know. He goes in
Yeah.
with guitar and does his own thing, and things have been kind of blowing up. He's, you know, he's done some shows up in Salt Lake and Blackjacks all the time, and even the Provo Mall, and you know, a bunch of places that have had him on there. Might not be bad to like maybe talk with him. Maybe, you know, you guys
Yeah,
can
yeah, that'd be cool to have. You should mention it to him.
put on some shows together at the venues. That way you guys kind of have a lineup, you know, like you're not just going to them with one band or one gig. You got
Yeah.
a couple people wanting to come in.
Well, you met someone. Oh yeah, yes I did. Somebody there, but I don't know if it's all a lie. How far can it go? How big is the lie? Well, I'm supposed to do it. Like, I'll refill it.
So how's things been with your family and stuff lately?
Good man, good. They've been good. Just been Mexico was really chill, and everything's good with my family now,
That's good.
except with
That's
my
important.
brother. Like
Oh God, the valley.
he hasn't like
He said
my dad was kind of concerned that I was like upset with him.
the best-
Yeah.
It's still like fucked up what he did, and all I really want is an apology, but I can't even get that from him. So I've
Yeah.
kind of been kind of pissed off at that.
Yeah, he's your brother, man. Like I'm just gonna tell you from a guy who's lost his, you know, you would do anything like at some point, like
Yeah, I told him, like I told my dad, like I love my brother, and like I'm not gonna.
right.
I'm like right now I don't feel anything negative towards him, but I would like at least like, hey man, I know I messed up and I wanna like patch things up, but I couldn't even get that from him yet. Like my brother
Yeah.
is prideful.
Yeah, it's not pride, that's stupidity, but
Yeah, it is.
but it's mistaken for pride. Yes, I agree. But like I said, yeah, don't hold any hate. Don't you
No,
know
no,
that,
it's like it's just
Yeah.
hate that I don't need. So
yeah, it's on him now. Well, what
yeah,
he
yeah,
chooses
it's
to
all
do,
on him
yeah.
at this point. So
Yeah, exactly.
I've already the weight baton has been given off to him. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the most important things though, is family, man. Like at the end of the day, you can make all the money in the world, it'll never you would trade it all, trust me, you would. Trade it all. And sometimes it's hard. Some family members, you know, I have some family members that are hard to get along with and we don't see each other much, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I don't hold any grudges or anything. And
it's not good, man. It's not good to do, man.
yeah, even against strangers, there's no reason to hold grudges or hate or all that, you know. It's just easier to make the world a better place versus making it worse. Basically,
Yeah.
that's the way it's designed. It wants us to, you know, the way things are designed right now, even with media, the news, everyone, it's to divide us. They want us to fight amongst each other. That's the truth. You see it in the media. You see it in on social media. You see it in real life. You see it. It's just like everyone's so caught up in their own. I can't even explain it. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life until recently. But now it's almost like, oh, you donated, it wasn't enough. And they're mad that you didn't donate enough. It's like, what? I've never seen someone get so upset over somebody trying to help. Like, I don't, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like,
whack, bro.
yeah, and you're
I-
like, what the hell, man? You're mad because I only donated $1,000 instead of 10? Like,
Like, oh, that's not enough. Yeah. for
yeah,
real.
it's like, you know, how much have you donated? You know, like, come on, man. Like, it's crazy. I don't even understand that concept or that belief, but
People on the top of the real Uncle Rock. I think it's got something to do with my music. But this is the silliest shit I've ever heard. Why would they listen to him?
how was your Christmas and your New Year's? And
It was really good, man. It was I spent it with Marlene.
And this is
Um
I am not afraid to say, Robert Freeman, that I hate you a lot less than I hate the other.
let's see.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my page optimized. But it's been really good, man. Marlene had fun. She has her own room here.
that's cool.
Because I live out in the studio shed out in the back.
But he insisted you come over and talk to him today. Please.
And
Mr. Rebel is here to see you.
I just chill out there. She chills in here. She's on. She likes to make videos on YouTube.
Not a bad singer either.
That's cool.
One white man to another.
Yeah, I think one of her videos got like
With our kind of music,
a little over 2,000 plays.
It's not bad. You can definitely,
Just
she
for
can
a little
definitely build on
short.
that.
Yeah, just for a little short she made.
Yeah, that's good actually. She could definitely turn that into some numbers if she keeps at it.
Yeah, for real.
And then by the time she's 18, she'd be set, man. You know, that's what it's all about, is getting the audience. Because once you have the audience, you got to just think about it like that. I mean, you know, you got 1 million followers. Let's just say you sell something for $1, you know?
Yeah.
Even a quarter of them buy it, dude. That's $250,000.
Yeah, that's wild. So I just built my page and luckily I was able to send 1,000 invites in a click of a button.
I'm surrounded by.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, the page is where it's at, or the group or whatever. If you create that, and page or groups now, you can actually run ads to now. Before you couldn't. Facebook didn't allow it.
Yeah.
So now you can actually run ads to it, which I need to start doing to mine, and I've been neglected it, and it's just what I do. I always try to do too many things at once, and you know, you get all excited about something, and then you're excited about it. It's like you got 5 or 10 projects that you're excited about, but
I
I'm
know
not-
I have a lot of things that I'm excited about and I'm like,
But I'm only
I want to do them all.
exactly, but I'm only moving them a little bit. You know, if I would have focused on one and then focused on the other, then focused on the other, I probably would be like halfway there. Now I'm
Yeah.
only like a quarter of the way there because I'm trying to push every one of these ideas or projects that I'm excited about.
It
But
looks
yeah,
like
that's
it's
I
looking
think-
like it's the time to start doing that though.
yeah. And it's just doing it. At first, there's, you know, some people they don't want to do it because they want everything to be perfect. It's like, oh, everything's got to be perfect. I want this perfect, that perfect.
There's
like-
gonna be hiccups along the way. There always is. It's just about-
Don't matter how perfect you think it is. Like some of my
Yeah.
best or my most viewed stuff was just something I threw together in like 5 minutes, and the stuff that I spent an hour or two on got very little views or anything. Like you just need to do it. You just do it right when it comes into your head. Boom, you throw that up, and you see how people respond, and then you can focus on something that's a little better quality. But you know, there's no reason to try to make everything perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's the lie on social media anyway. And that's part of the reason why everybody's depressed and has all these problems. You get on there and you see all these people living the best lives. And I learned that real quick when I was going through my divorce, because for a while everybody would get a hold of me and was asking me about divorce and stuff. And I'm like, holy hell, how many people want a divorce out there? Like
a
I
lot,
became like
a lot.
I
You'd be
became like
surprised, brother. You'd be surprised.
well,
how
I
many
was.
people
I
see it.
was. It was like I became the divorce whisperer or something. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, it's like they're asking me if they should get one and this and that. And I'm like, how would I know if you should get a divorce or not?
It's your life, bro. It's
Yeah,
your
I'm not the
life.
one. I'm not the one in the relationship. I have no idea, man. Like, oh.
Bye.
But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it was some crazy times seeing how many people would get a hold of me about it and asking me, "Oh, do you think my relationship is gonna work?" It's like, bro,
Oh, I don't know. You're the only one that knows that.
I couldn't make my own work. Like, not that it was my fault, but at the end of the day, like, what makes you think that I'm like,
Yeah,
you know?
maybe they're just looking for an outside perspective.
Yeah, and I gave them what I thought and what I knew, and you
But
know,
the thing is, most of them already know that it's not going to work out if they're having problems in the first place. You
yeah,
know?
whether it's going to or it isn't, right? And they know the problems, and it's like the majority of everyone's problem is lack of communication. They don't want to sit down and talk about the things that they can fix, and they don't want to talk about the things they can't, and they think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, social media, it's like, oh, your relationship's rocky. They got 10 people messaging them. And it's like, oh, I'll just go with one of these other people. Like, what? Like, and that's kind of how society's gone. And it's sad because, you know, then it just lowers your own value at the end of the day, in my
Yeah,
opinion. when
it
people
really
do that.
does.
It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with your own value and your own, oh, I'm disposable just like anyone else. I can just go with somebody else just like everybody does to me. And before you know it, everybody feels worthless. And, not that you have to be in a relationship to feel like you're important, but if you're gonna be, you probably should feel important, both everyone involved. So
Yeah, definitely. Oh, speaking of relationships, how's Tim?
she's doing pretty good. She's been working still, and it's been a little hectic over there. They got nights and days, and so she's working days and nights. Well, like one night or here and there to try to help. And
All right.
but it's all right. It helps me out a little bit because then I can schedule my stuff around it. So it's like at night, I got a guy in the Philippines helping a little bit. So it puts him on on my time zone for that day. So I can get with him and get him to do a little bit here and there. And it kind of helps him out. He's kind of struggling over there. He doesn't even need very much money. Philippines, you can live pretty well on $400 a month. Like, you live real well over there with that kind of income. And he was working construction for he was making, I think he said $5 a day. It was either a dollar a day or $5 a day doing construction, busting his butt. And he's like, and then you come home, you're exhausted, and then he's like, and you're still broke and poor, and and I'm like, dude, that's horrible. Like, so he's been, it's kind of hard,
Yeah, that shit's whack, bro.
and he's trying to learn, but it's like he's got a ghetto computer and he's got like a 12-inch monitor, like I can't even imagine like
Trying to work on that thing.
yeah, how could you even do anything on a 12-inch monitor? Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
after
be able to
I got
read.
2 monitors, I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm working without 2. So
No less one that's only 12 inches that I can't even read the
and I
words
got
on.
221s, so
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way to. Well, I want to get a third, but I'm not quite there yet. I gotta figure out where I'd even put it. I need to.
yeah, I don't have room for a third one.
Yeah.
Or you could get one of those really long
They make
towers.
Yeah, they make the stands, but I don't know. Looking up in that would probably end up. I don't know. Sounds like a good idea, but it also sounds bad. I don't need another screen with 100 tabs open on it. I already can't find what I'm doing.
Yeah, you do have that tab problem.
Yeah, I let my ADD. I just start working on same thing, working on all these projects. It's like I'm inching them forward, but if I just focused on one, and that's kind of what I've been doing, mostly trying to get things like that in check. Been listening to some audiobooks. I got Audibly now, so that way while I'm working, I can kind of listen to things that
Oh, nice.
get that outside perspective of people who have made it and things like that, and how they did it, and learn new tools and skills to control some of the things that are holding me back. But
Yeah, it's what was I gonna say? What's my train of thought? What were we talking about just now?
Audibly and audiobooks.
Oh, yeah, audiobooks. Yeah. I've been trying to read. I'll send you some books I've been reading. And then you can use the PDF, speech, whatever, and then you can just have it makes it like a portable Audible for PDF documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you some books. What's your email? Text
NDOSEO@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, NDOSEO.
Yeah.
Gmail.com. Yeah, I'll send you some books that really helped me out. It's The Genie Within, which talks about I think I told you about it a little bit when I was working with you. Which is about how the subconscious mind works and how to program goals into your subconscious and exercises and all that. And then there's The Magician, which is basically the study of effective magic. And that just basically just talks about how to manifest your thoughts into reality and how to use real magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that one's a really good book. That one's a phenomenal one. And that talks a lot about that one. That one can help you a lot on your psychic site.
Yeah, yeah.
You could pull a lot of information from there and integrate it into Chat GPT and create articles with what's in the contents of that book. And then the last one would go for the psychic site, especially, which is cyclomancy, and that's how do the power of the it's like basically the Wikipedia book of psychic control and how you can use parts of the body to like there's like you can like lower your blood pressure just by thinking about it. There's like psychically moving the blood in your body and like it's crazy stuff, man, and it's all 100% science because like the parts of your brain, the electricity that flows through your body
Right.
and like you can control that with muscles um that are in your brain. And there's muscle testing, there's pendulums, and I'm sure you know all about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 for sure. Like a lot of that stuff is, my mom, she's in psychology too, and she was telling me about the one class they were talking about two patients at the hospital, and one was dying, and one was there for just a simple procedure, with really no risk, and they accidentally mixed their files up. So the one that was there for the simple procedure, they were letting them know that they didn't have long to live, and basically this was the end. The person who was dying, they told, "Oh, the surgery went great, and you should make a full recovery," and
Yeah.
and what happened is the person that went in for the simple procedure died. They ended up dying because they were told they were going to die, and the person that was dying ended up making a full recovery and lived. So our minds or our brains are more powerful than we think.
Yeah, they really are.
And so like you said, proven, like that's one of those things that has happened in history that's proven that
And
what we believe.
there's backed by science. It's not just
Right,
like a metaphysical theory or like, oh, just because we can't see it, it's not true. There's actual documented like
right. Case studies
case studies about like
and
there's like MK Ultra, there's all this other crazy stuff and that even the CIA uses psychic techniques to train their people.
right. Yeah, no, it's
Like sleeper agents.
yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it's all proven. Like you have a lot of different things. Like I said, we're hardwired in for certain things, just like being social and seeing people, and that's why we make faces out of clouds and food and stains, and you look at something, we see faces. It's because we're wired to connect with each other, and probably on a more deep level than just communication through words. We
My,
just don't know that.
my mentor uh told me that your greatest weapon is your imagination. And if you can imagine it, you can basically create it. And you can manifest it if it's good or bad. You can use the power of you can use your psychic abilities for good or evil, and they show that in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Uh, about psychic control. And like in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And I feel like these books will really help take us to the next level. Like I have Cyclomancy on hardcover, and the things in there, holy shit, they are insane.
Yeah, almost the one thing that almost all these books and things have in common is talking about the 90% of them is channeling, some kind of energy or outside source. And when you can channel into that, that's where success is, because we're no longer focused on monetary value or focused on our current problem, because we have that extra source helping us achieve these things.
Yeah.
And almost every one of them talks about these things. I've been reading a lot of books too. I don't know if you've ever read Meditations, but Meditations was from a Roman emperor. And basically it was a journal of his that he would go in and document. He would write down basically his thoughts and his things of the things that they were trained and to do, because before you could become a Roman emperor, you have to follow all these steps and things. Like, for instance, they're not supposed to be able to even have a bad thought. So when they're thinking, they aren't supposed to think negatively about anything. They're supposed to be, and he talks about how that was the hardest thing for him to accomplish, because no matter how hard you try, when things, when somebody's telling you something, you're gonna think negatively, or you're gonna think something bad, like, because when you're an emperor, people come to you with their problems, and you're like, you have to, you can't judge and be like, oh yeah, they're guilty, oh I bet you he did it. And that's where our brains go. That's how our thought process works. And so, but it's pretty cool. It's a good book. It's kind of hard to follow because it's, so old, but the everything in there, it makes sense even today. I've also been reading The Tools, and it kind of is just, it just helps you in everyday life. It just helps you create kind of system and processes for everyday life, and how to cope with things and how to make things better. And it's kind of an interesting read.
Hey, those sound interesting, man. You should link me those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo. Oh, I sent you those books, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and these books are expensive too. These are like the Magician hardcover is like 3K or something. These are like really occult books. Like, I had to dig deep for these, and I got these over the years, and this PDF is insane. You can find a lot of these books like cheap now, but like to find them hardcover,
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah, there's a book called Breakthrough Advertising. It's kind of old, but it's like one of those books that's really expensive and hard to find. It's like the most stolen book from the library.
Damn.
It's just kind of crazy. Like, I found a PDF. I'll see if I can find it, but it's a pretty interesting read. But I learned a lot from that. Just like when I was talking about how you have to channel those trends or channel that demand. He talks about that, and he talks about thinking differently than others. I think one of the examples he gave was somebody hired him to advertise for like Viagra, and everybody at the time was basically pushing it towards this. They would show photos of people like in their 70s, and help. And he's like, so I did the complete opposite. I showed a person in their 40s, and or sorry, it was the other way around. Everybody was advertising towards the 50 or 40-year olds, and he's like, so I advertised towards a much older generation and put the older ones in, and then put as the example, if I can help this guy, I can help you. Because if I can help somebody this old, I can help somebody that's in their 50s or 40s. Like,
Yeah.
and he would talk about ads that he created, and he's like, some of my best ads were created in under 20-30 minutes, but I'd have to hold on to it for a week or two, because if I just gave it to them, they wouldn't see the value in it.
Yeah, yeah.
If they thought I worked on it for 2 weeks,
I did the same thing. Yeah.
if they thought I worked on it 2 weeks, they're going to see the value much more than 30 minutes, even though it was for one of his friends, and he ended up giving it to him 2 weeks later, and it ended up being the biggest success his friend had ever seen. And he's like, so, but I had to hold that because otherwise he wouldn't have taken it seriously.
Yeah, that's wild. So I don't have like the Zoom Pro.
Yeah, no problem.
So it's running me less than a minute. What you got going on for the rest of the day? Do you got more time or are you just chilling?
Yeah, I got a little bit more time. That's fine.
You want to send me a link to one of your rooms? Because you have probably the Zoom Pro, right?
I don't use the Zoom Pro just because the people that I do meet with, they already have it. So it's they always send me the
Okay,
link.
well, I'll
So.
give you another call back.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, peace.